Tonight, what I want to talk about is the Gelli Pads, and these came out quite a while ago, and I had lots of people come and show me how to use them, and I bought myself a big one, but I just recently bought myself a little one, and I've done these with my sister before. So they're called Gelli Pads, and they're the weirdest little things, but they're really fun for doing monoprints and really fun for doing sort of printing things. And you can print textures and stuff like that and put them into your artwork, or you can just do cards with the Gelli prints.
Okay, so Karen, how much is this size that we've got?
So the size, when I looked at Michael's, it's like $25.99 for this size. Okay, but you can use your Michael's coupon if you go to Michael's, because there's always a 30% coupon, and that takes it down to about 19 something. Okay, so not too bad, and you can use it over and over and over again. Okay, so I'm gonna take this out of the packaging. I'm just gonna show you what it is. It's the weirdest kind of stuff. So when you get it, it has this sort of plastic covering on it, and I'm gonna pull this off, and it's very, like, it's rubbery, right? It's jelly. Yeah. So anyway, and I'm only gonna take one side off at this point, just because I don't want to mess up the other side. So anyway, this is it. And the thing that's neat about the Gelli Pads is that when you do put your paint on it and stuff like that, and then you start putting textures and things like that, it helps you do the monoprint a little bit better. So I have done monoprints on glass or other materials, but this one just seems to work very well with doing monoprints and things like that. So, all right. Should we change the view?
Do we need to talk about what monoprints are?
Well, we talked about monoprints before the other day. Okay, so monoprints is like a single print. So you would take, anything that you're doing, like even like a stamp is a monoprint if you're just putting one print on it. Now you can do multiple prints if you wanted to do other colors and stuff like that. And even though I do monoprints as cards quite often, I can't just leave them alone. I have to color into them. So I color into them with that pencil crayon and stuff like that. Yeah.
Right. Like after the paint is dry.
Yeah, when the paint's dry. Yeah. Well, you can work onto them when they're wet too. You just have wet on wet, right? Isn't this fun?
It's a sister show.
Sister show.
I love it.
Okay. Anyway, so the other thing that you do need pretty much when you have this is you need a brayer, and this is the brayer. We talked about these a few weeks ago, but this is a rubber brayer. It has a little bit of give with it. Mine are in rough shape because I'm horrible to them, but that's all right. They still work. And then you're just going to use any of your acrylic paints. Now, I have some of the student paints, which we use quite often, which are these ones, these basic paints, and they're a bit thick, but they're okay. You can also use something like this. This is artist quality, and it's a lot more expensive, but these are a fluid. It's a fluid.
So Karen, what's the difference between just the basic and the artist grade?
Yeah, I was working on that. Okay. Oh my gosh.
You're surrounded.
I'm surrounded. Anyway, so this is a bit thicker. This one comes out more like a fluid, and then it's just liquidier. So sometimes that's a little bit easier because these can start to dry really quickly. And we found that last time that Jodie and I were doing this, we were doing it on a big one. And by the time we got all the paint on and then started putting all our textures on and stuff like that, then we started it was starting to dry on the Gelli Pad. So you have to work pretty fast and work pretty wet.
And at that point, this is your friend, right?
Yeah, a spray bottle. It's not my friend. I don't like that one. Oh, okay, try it. My spray bottles are not spraying very well these days. So anyway, so the other things that you're going to need are things that you can either draw with or leave prints with or things like that. So, I found this thing at Michael's. I don't know what it is. I think it's for leather working, but it's got a nice tip on the one side and it's got a nice little flat edge on the other side. So I can draw in the paint. It's kind of like finger painting, right? You put your paint on and then you can draw into it and create things like that. And then anything that you have that, maybe is a texture, you can set it on and leave a texture. You can also do things like, hey, this is one of our snowflakes from a long time ago. Mm-hmm. You could take something like this and you could press it on and then lift it off, or you could just leave it on and anywhere that it is will be white. And then you'll just have a snowflake on your picture. So I have a whole bunch of stuff here that is textures or shapes.
Like this was a piece of lino cut you
Yeah.
carved into, right?
Yeah,
Karen?
this is a lino cut that I carved into.
Yeah.
This is some foam, some of that really heavy duty foam, but it makes nice little, you can see it's not a perfect square, but I don't want perfect squares. So it makes kind of a nice little impact. You can also get things like this. This is from the art store and it has groovy little designs on it. And you can run that and create like lines or zigzags or things like that with your pieces. Okay.
Awesome.
You know what also works really well? I'm just gonna reach in and get the fork. Okay. It's a fork. Fork works too because you can make lines with that. So this is my painting fork.
That one looks
Yeah.
cool.
I know this one's weird. This must be for clay or something.
Well, no, I think it's actually more for cake decorating.
I
I
don't know.
haven't seen that before. You
Anyway,
could use it either way.
I guess so. Anyway, I just thought we could.
And like the back.
Or for Play-Doh. It reminds me of a Play-Doh tool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably what it
Excellent
is because that's probably where I found
What
it.
to do with all those old Play-Doh things.
Yeah.
And you could use the back of them.
A brush. Yeah.
A brush,
You can
just
do all
like
sorts
a-
of things. Anyway, we're going to get started. We're going to switch the view and I'm going to get started with some paint, just throwing some paint on my
Jelly. And me
on
too.
my Gelli pad. And so the paper that I'm using, I'm using watercolor paper right now, and you have some of that too.
Ooh.
So this is nice paper. So just because I want to, if I'm going to do it, I do have a show coming up, so I got to get some work done. Anyway, so you could use a palette knife or just anything to get your paint onto your Gelli pad, but you don't necessarily. Now Jodie she's used just a dish to put her paint in. But you can also just apply the paint right to the Gelli pad, which is kind of how I like to do it. And so I can put like a couple of colors on there and smoosh them around. Oh, or just, make a mess.
Karen or Jodie, can you like take a divot out of that gel? Like, do you have to be careful not to hurt it?
Zuko, come on.
I have never actually,
He's not coming.
I guess I'm not that rough with it because I've never really dented it or anything like that. So
Okay.
I haven't had any problems with my big one. It's not,
And you don't really need to use a lot of pressure,
yeah.
to get like a mark. Like I'll do some here. But
Okay.
I certainly wouldn't if you're using that fork, I would just be careful with it.
Yeah, you
Just
just have-
lightly. Okay.
yeah. So like
'Cause
I'm
you're still
just,
going to get your imprint.
I'm just going to do a couple of lines with this because I want to see what it does. And I can barely see that line on there that I'm making at this point. I'm just going to do a few here. And then, like even things like this is something I just picked up at the dollar store. And I think it's like a placemat or something. And I've cut it and, I can put something like this on. You just lay it down there.
You can let Leslie know it does seem to be recording upstairs. So.
Okay, there it's recording upstairs, Bill. Just double
We
check.
had at
So
least the first 5 minutes.
we're good. Excellent. Okay, so I'm just going to lay this down and now I'm going to lift it and it's going to lift up some of that paint. Okay. Now I could take this and put this somewhere, right? Because I've got paint on it. And then what else do I want to do? I think I'm going to do some squares. So I don't want to go too much because I don't want to have it run out or get too dry.
And so, Karen, like sometimes when there's a lot of paint, right? It's too, like, I can't get the texture. So
You can,
I could do that. Oh,
Do
but
that.
then I've got a messy one, right?
so I'm just going to take this piece of paper. I'm going to see how mine is going. It seems like I got a lot of paint on there. So part of me is like, this is one of those times when it's like, am I failing? And you guys are going to see me fail. Okay. So I'm not putting a lot of pressure on it because I know there's a lot of paint on there. So you can see some of the lines that I did. Okay. So
Neat.
this is just the first print. I can go in and do other things on this and create some things. I'm going to take my snowflake.
I missed that, Karen. Did you just use your hands to
Yeah.
do that down? Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to do my snowflake, move this out of the way. And see how this is now my second print, right? So it's like some of the paint on there is dry, and I've put another texture on there, and I've put the snowflake. So you can see the circles where I did the circles and where I have that snowflake.
Neat.
Pull the snowflake off. And I'm going to do one more. There's hardly any paint on this anymore, but I'm going to do one more print just because I like that sort of ghosted image that ends up
Yeah, it's really
happening.
nice.
And each of these is called a monoprint, right? Because they're all different.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. There's just one. And because even if you had, like this one didn't work, right? But you know what? This might be the basis of another piece, right?
Yeah.
Like I could do another run of paint on here with my brayer.
Okay, so another thing you can do when there's very little paint, right? If your thing works properly.
You can spray it.
Right,
if
it
you're-
is
I
crappy.
know, I hate that thing. I mean, crazy. It used to be my best friend, this one,
Yeah,
but now it's not
they
working.
pooch out after a while.
Okay, here's another. Try this one and this one. Or one of these ones might work.
Okay, we're loaded up. So sometimes
That one worked.
now I'll probably have a watery ghost image, right, Karen?
Maybe. Yeah.
Let's see. Let's just see. Let's see what we get. So the great thing is experimenting, right?
Yeah, that's half the fun, is just sort of seeing what happens to whatever you're doing.
Karen, what was that you just pushed onto your jelly roll?
That is a bizarre looking thing.
It's the bottom of a computer screen. Sam?
Oh,
Yeah,
It's
I think
very
we were throwing
cool.
out. I know, isn't that cool? It was like we were getting rid of this old computer, and I think it sat on the top, and I was like, ooh.
Okay, before water
good find.
and
Yeah.
then after water.
After water. So this is Jodie's watery print. So isn't that kind of pretty, right?
Especially, if I would work back into it. and that
With
sort of
pencil
thing.
crayon, yeah, you'd be able to draw back into
Yeah,
that.
give it a bit more definition. Find a focal point, right?
Yeah, that
Mhm.
kind of thing.
Neat.
Can we see Jodie's number 1 as well as her number 2?
Here's my number 1.
There's number 1.
I'm not used to working with this camera.
It's perfect right there. Perfect.
Ah, there you
Blobby,
go.
but let's try something else
Yeah.
here. So I'm gonna wipe off my jelly print and
Yeah, so you can just use a cloth to wipe it off, and to clean them at the end when you're done, you can use just like some hand sanitizer on there, and it cleans them off really nice.
You mean like something with alcohol? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, it would just soften up any of the paint that's on there, that's dried on there, and stuff like that. So you can do that easily.
And the
Those
point
look
is
so
you
fun.
You reuse it. That's why you buy it.
Yeah, and you can reuse it over and over again. So
yeah.
Oh,
And
cool.
if you compromise the one side, you can use the other.
that's right.
Yeah.
You have two sides to it.
Okay, after some red action.
And what if I don't want to buy what's that called thing? That thing called a
Like,
Bayer? No, a Bayer or Briar.
rare.
You know what? My mom has tons. I can get her to give me one. Stuffs.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't have, I mean, the brayer just makes it even. So when you're doing things, you get a more even sort of flow of paint.
And unlike like a sponge paint, like a paint roller where you'd paint a wall, it doesn't absorb the paint. The paint just sits on the brayer. It's hard
Okay.
to work.
It's made
Yeah.
out of rubber.
It's gonna give you a better print than.
I think I have a face roller thingy that could work.
Well, you know,
Do you really
just-
roll your face, Trish?
Well, I don't, but there's one in my freezer, and I don't think John put it there. I think it's Angeline's. But
I'm
Okay.
sure she won't mind.
I guess, and the other thing that could happen with that is if you had enough paint on it, let it dry smoothly on something, then you could actually have kind of a hard, it wouldn't have the
the give.
it would have a bit of give, but not, it wouldn't be absorbent. I don't know.
Karen, because I missed the first day of your prints,
Mhm.
and it wasn't recorded. Is that piece that you've got there with the circles? Is that something you made with a foam tray, a styrofoam tray?
No, this is something we're gonna do later.
Ah,
Another type of
Okay.
monoprint that I do a lot in my classes, and it's probably I like the foam one, but I love this.
Oh.
I make tons of them, so we'll do that one day.
Okay.
So the other thing that I wanted to get out, I'm just gonna put more on this. It's turning into a green.
And you're inking up
I think Spencer would call that puce.
Green
That's
and
not
purple.
his favorite color to make.
He's absolutely right, because it's green and purple mixed together is puce. So he's absolutely right. So, okay. So the other thing I have these really cool little guys. These are little pieces of metal. And I have a few of them. I might be going too slow here. It's going to dry out on me.
Jody, is that little grid a plastic grid?
Yeah, it's just
Like a vent
No,
cover
they're-
almost.
From an
might
old
be probably-
computer.
It's probably an old vent cover.
so it's got a bit of
Hey, stop breaking my tools, for crying out loud. Jeez, I invite you over here and you break.
now we have 2 squares. Isn't that great? I like squares. Sheesh.
Wow.
So glad you asked the question.
And so when you guys are talking about texture, this is what you're talking about, like putting stuff, not leaving it on, but just putting it in the paint.
You can leave it on, so I'm going to leave these on because I don't know. I think I want them
Because then they would
textured
be
in.
more of a like a stencil, right?
Yeah.
Right, like a negative.
Mm-hmm. Oops. Okay, so making a little mistake like that. Yes.
I don't know if those will show up. You know, the first time that Jodie and I did this, we had the big one, and we were just like, we could hardly wait for each other to finish our because we were both using one, right?
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, you do 3, and then I'll do 3, and it's
Yeah.
like we made so many prints. It was like a manufacturing
Yeah.
plant here.
There was a lot of energy in the room that day.
Yeah.
And because we also have different ways of, like, we have a different aesthetic, right?
Yeah.
Different.
So I can see
Different
some of
colors.
those little things in there. They're very hard to see, but I love the triangles. They worked out really nice.
Now, question, Karen, since we're awash in brayers, although we don't have any more, would you ever use a brayer on this to pick up, to give it more, or is it really sufficient to just do it with your
You
hand?
could try it with another brayer. Do you want one?
Let's give it a go.
Okay.
Do you have one?
Yeah, I do. I have
Can I
lots.
get?
I
I'm gonna
actually
have
bought a
that,
whole bunch of
actually.
brayers for when I was teaching, so I have like a bag of brayers.
Yeah, too bad you didn't live next door, Trish.
That's right, yeah.
But
Like I said, I got a source near you. And both Karen and I know she has way too much stuff.
well, she doesn't use it anymore.
She doesn't use it anymore.
She
Oh,
just-
okay. This is
It's not a very good brayer. I've been even worse
Okay,
to
well,
that one.
let's just see. Oops.
And again, the paint, I mean, it's probably obvious to you, but it's just acrylic paint, right?
It is just acrylic paint.
Okay. Oh, neat.
Yeah, you got a nice mix there.
But this is really dried out now.
Yeah, so is mine. Mine's super
So
dry.
I don't think I could get anything off of that.
No,
now.
you can't get anything off of it now. It's two. So time to add more paint.
Oh, okay. So that's the other thing is you can just go right on over top. Hey?
Yeah, because you know what? I don't mind if I add another color to this, and if I do another print, if it picks up some of this dried paint, that's okay, because then it's just adding a little bit more color to whatever I'm doing.
Pardon me.
My goodness.
Excuse me. Okay, let's just see what happens. Because yeah, we have on our brayer what we had before.
Yeah. I mean, you could clean it each time if that's what you want to do,
Mm-hmm.
but make this square.
Okay, it's getting a little monotone for me. A little too much like, I don't know, some kind of ice cream would be that.
I'm loving that white and purple. That's a really interesting base.
See?
Yeah,
She likes it.
but I'm gonna. It's too
It's too pale,
pale
for her.
me.
That's fine. Darken it up.
Or black.
Well, there's not any black here.
I can get you black. I have black over there.
See what happens.
Leah, are you doing it? Do you have a gel? What's it called? A jelly
Jelly
plate?
plate?
No, I don't. I was trying to find I have lino cut squares that I could do instead, but I couldn't find them, so I'm just kind of watching.
Okay. Well, it's fun to watch. This is great.
Yeah.
When Leah comes to my place, she can
Yeah.
do some. Just not on.
Chloe, are you making one? Is
Chloe
Chloe making one?
I don't know if Chloe has one.
Ah.
Oh, she's on. Is she on mute?
She's on mute. But Chloe quite often will just paint along with us. What are you working on?
there you
Chloe?
go.
I'm painting on a piece of wood right now.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, nice.
But using the jelly plate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a jelly plate?
No, she bought one.
You
She-
bought one. You didn't have to do that. So
I know. Well, she seemed really stoked on the idea last week, so I thought,
okay. Well, they are pretty fun, and I quite like this one.
That's great.
Like this to me is a great base for a card or something, or a little art piece that I would work back into. So although it's considered a monoprint, I could never just, for my own art, I just can't leave it like this. It's like when, people, if you've seen people do the paint pouring stuff, I can't just leave it like that because that's not my art. I have to figure out a way to beakoize it, I guess, and beakoize it. So anyway, so that to me is a nice start. And like these are perfect for nice little pieces that I could sell easily at a show that's coming up in April.
Do you have a show coming up in April?
Yeah, April 2nd and 3rd.
Where is it at?
It's at Crescent Heights Community Center. And you can come. It's not just my crazy abstract art that's going to be there. There's lots of other art there too. So if you just want to come and see art, you can come and see that. That'd be fun.
Mhm.
All right, what else am I going to do? I don't know. There's so many things.
So many things.
The one thing that I love about doing art in the studio here is that when I think of something, it's like, I wonder what this would be like if I did this. And then I can just get up and go get it or do it. And it's harder when it's in a class and I can't play around with things. My toys aren't as close. Okay, I'm just reaching over you there, Joe.
Yeah, no worries. Here, I'll move that.
This is we showed this before. This is that
I love that thing.
it's a candy holder. But
And look, I just really like this, Karen. It's just
I
as a
know.
piece itself,
I know. And look at the
That's
colors
just
that I got on there.
gorgeous.
I know.
Just put that up on the wall.
I know.
Put it in a frame.
Sorry, I can do that.
There'll be two pieces.
Double. Did you guys hear that?
Did you hear
No.
that?
He said, "Let Jodie play with it, and you'll have two."
All about the multiplication. Okay, I'm not going to use the brayer on this because I have a fair bit of paint. So you can take a little peeky look, right, Karen?
Yeah, you
And you can say, maybe a little bit more.
Reaching across your head. Got all these.
My high school art teacher always used to make that noise when he found something really nice.
Let's see, Jodie. Oh, yeah. Cool.
Yeah. So again, I think like Karen, and I don't know how this reads to you guys. This would be for me, that would be the bottom, but I would work back into this, I think. like it's a good start, but it's not, for me, it's not finished. But when
Yeah.
you do jelly stuff, it can be like, that's what you get, and you're
Yeah,
good with that. Right?
especially if you're doing something where you're drawing a picture or something. If that's what you want to do, right? If you want to draw like a snowman or a cat or something like that, or a flower,
Mhm.
I mean, that could be just what you end up doing. And that ends up being your piece is sort of just whatever you create with the animal. Oh, now let me just throw my tools
What
around.
happens when you probably covered this in your earlier classes, but what happens when you want to write a word?
You have to do it backwards. So any letters and numbers and stuff that you put in there, you have to do it backwards, or else it won't work. Unless you want backwards letters on your card. So same with your signature. If you decide to, put your signature on, you'll need to
Gotta learn to write it backwards.
learn to write backwards. So, okay, so that one, I don't like that one as much. I was kind of playing around a little bit there, but you could go in and work on, just going to brayer this a little bit. I'm just going to grab, maybe, where's that? I'm going to grab this thing. So this is not sharp. It's got a little ball on the end. So it's not like the dart thing that I was using the other day. So, I could go in and just do a drawing. I do all these, goofy little sort of sketches. And I'm sketching just really fast so that I can get something out here. Oh, I ran out of paper. Oh, here's some. Like that. Thank you. It's so easy to run out of paper.
Oh man, you got to have a big stack when you do stuff like this. Because you go, oh, maybe I could try that.
Karen, can you write your name backwards?
No?
Got to get practicing on that. I can do that.
You can do that? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I can do it
Years
too.
practicing.
You can do it too.
Good
Chloe?
for you.
Awesome.
I don't know if I could.
Now, why are you
I
guys not
suppose you
getting?
could just sign your name to it when it's finished, though, too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's easier. But why are neither of you getting paint all over the clean side of your papers?
I guess because like on my hands, it's dried enough from the
Yeah.
writing.
Yeah. Like my hands are dirty, but it's drying because
Okay.
it's not thick paint that I'm dealing with. So here's my little drawing. Of course, it's backwards from what I drew, but.
Oh, yeah.
Are these jelly pads 5x7 or are they
Yeah.
more like an 5x7?
5 by
Oh,
7.
that's
Yeah.
So again, more ghosting.
yeah, a lot more ghosting.
I'm liking what I'm getting there.
Mhm.
Again, this would be the bottom for me. Or I suppose you could do it sideways, but yeah, I think that red bit there just is bottom. Oh, okay. So
Very cool. Listen, guys, I'm going to go. I have to run off and buy a jelly pad. So
Sure, you do.
stop at 271 Beechwood and pick up a rare then.
and pick up a briar. Yeah.
Yeah.
This
Great
was
to
really
meet you.
fun. Nice to meet everyone. And
Right.
is it every single Tuesday?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll be back. Thank you.
And usually we're doing things that you can do at the same time. So, and I
Okay.
have no idea what we're
Then
doing
you don't
next
have
week.
to buy a jelly pad for it.
Oh, I'm going to go get one. That's awesome. Okay. Bye-bye. See you
Bye-bye.
later. Take care.
Bye.
Maybe one day Angeline will be there. Yeah.
Yeah.
You haven't seen
I've
her.
talked to her in a while.
Yeah. She was in Denmark.
She's in Denmark right now?
She was. She
Oh.
did a co-op with you of Vic.
Oh, that's cool.
All right.
So is anybody else working on this at the same time?
No, nobody else has
No.
jelly pads.
Well, I thought maybe a couple people that I see there would have had.
We'll have them soon enough.
Chloe, has anybody worked with a jelly pad before? Like with somebody else's place? No?
I don't think I did unless you had them in like
No,
when I was
not
in school.
not when you live with me. No. But you know, we're due for a visit. Hey, Leah.
Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully soon.
Mm-hmm.
If gas gets cheaper.
Oh well, that's not necessarily going to happen, but
Yeah.
don't
Well,
let
I'll
that
come
stop
anyway.
you. I'd be happy to contribute.
Goes up on the first, eh?
What?
Gas goes up on the first.
Gas goes
Gas
up on the
goes
first bill. So.
Oh no. Okay, well I'll come before that then.
Okay. We'll have some jelly fun. Ooh, look at that. Karen's working back into it. I like it. Nice.
I gotta go cut more paper.
She knows what she's doing.
No, I don't. I'm just throwing paper on and messing it up. Hey, there's Spencer.
Oh. Yeah.
There we go. Okay, so none of the textures that I went in there worked, but you know what? I added that water and look at this beautiful sort of,
Yeah, that's really nice there.
That's wonderful.
isn't
That's
that
a great texture.
It's nice the way
Yeah.
that what do you violet kind of
Yeah,
bleeds in
bleeds
and then
into it a little bit.
A little bit marbleized.
Yeah.
So, and you just did that with the spray bottle? You got that?
Yeah, I just added a bit of spray to it just to, I put some other color in and then sprayed it and it just, that's what it did.
Really making the most of your color.
Yeah. Well, I hate wasting paint, so if I can make it work, then
Does acrylic paint react with salt like watercolor does? Like if you threw some salt on there, would it maybe do some cool stuff?
it might actually. Just if you were doing, if you had water in there, I think. I don't have any salt with me right now, but.
But could the salt do something to that jelly roll pad?
Oh, I don't
like-
think so.
The texture of it? Oh, okay.
Damage it.
Yeah.
Because it would just, you just spray it off. You could spray, like hold it under the tap and clean it, and it would be fine.
Okay, and then here's the other
I think Chloe just went to get some salt.
There she goes. What are you looking for, Joe?
No, I was gonna steal some of your paint, but all your paint's on the jelly pad. You don't have any.
I don't have any what?
You don't have any that's sitting in a bucket like mine.
No, I don't have any in the bucket. I just keep putting it on there. Okay, so I ran out of paper, so I'm gonna pick up my jelly pad and I'm gonna press it into my sketchbook. 'Cause you know me, I like having stuff in my sketchbook, so. So here it is in my sketchbook. There's a bit of purple paint right here too.
No, I'm working with something else here. Sort of making a greeny black. So we'll see what that does. I'll put it on this little baby. Nice. Woo, Karen.
I quite like that.
Love that.
Mhm.
This.
Sort of
Yeah.
mottled sort of
Yeah, that's really great.
thing going on. Okay,
I'm gonna try this on.
Jodie's gonna try something. You guys can watch her. I'm gonna go cut more paper. It's
Okay.
weird, all my paper's gone.
Yeah.
How'd that happen?
Double the action. Okay, so I've got this little thing that I've inked up, but I'm not sure I want like smudgy paint, so I'm gonna just do that. Take a bit of it off. Can you see my jelly plate, or am I way off to the side?
No, we can see it.
Okay. Sorry. So, and what would Karen call that?
Look at that big
She'd
screen
call
in
that
front of you to check
focal
for it.
point. Wouldn't you? What?
Yeah.
I know. I was just asking a question. Just chatting. Ooh, this is one of my favorites that Karen has shown before. Hey, look at that thing.
A person who doesn't have the bottom of their cane.
I know. But I have it. And I was waiting to come here to Karen's studio so I could use it. I had to travel a lot of miles for this. Okay, so we'll just do that up and I'll just maybe like test that out again. Leah, any thoughts? What should I do?
I think you should draw some like swirly lines or like concentric circles in the top right.
Top right.
Oh, that's
Which is
pretty
the top right? Tell me where. Here? Here?
Oh, there.
Okay.
Oh, no, not there.
I'll do those.
Directly a diagonal from the current circle you have.
Okay, so what I'm going to try that with Leah then and everybody is with the back of the, because I don't want something too obtrusive. So you're talking about like that, Karen? Leah?
Yeah, that's fine.
Sorry. Oh, Leah, Karen, and call Karen, Leah. Let's see. I think maybe I need to repeat that somewhere.
Don't go too slow because your paint's
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
dry.
See, Karen's, she knows. Okay,
Because she's starting to get really sort of
finicky.
finicky about what
Which
she's
is-
doing.
Which is what I often do. Isn't it? Put another thing in there.
Go, go, go.
Okay. It's
You can get finicky. You just have to be fast finicky.
Okay, well, let this be a lesson to you all. So we'll see how this goes since we know it was kind of drying out. But then I think what I'll do is I'll do a ghost one, right? I'll wet it and do another ghost one. See what I get off of this.
So I'm using also just a sponge just to put the paint on there. So I guess if you don't have a brayer, you could try sponging it. It'll maybe mix the paints a little bit as you put it on, and you'll have areas of thicker paint and areas of thinner paint. But that's not necessarily bad either, because you can just, maybe it just makes it more painterly.
Mhm.
Ooh, I don't like that at all.
Oh no.
So again, I lost so much and now you got this splooch here. I don't really like that.
I like it. I think it's cool.
You like it, babe? Well, I'm going to try something. I'm just going to take this brush and just do that. And that may have wrecked it more, but
Okay.
you know what? It's okay, right? Because it's just, you're just experimenting.
Okay, I'm taking this one that I already printed on that was a too ghosty, and I'm just going to, oh, you know, I should put some patterns on this. I just put paint on and I was like, okay, there's some paint.
And I'm liking this one more that I did that. I think it's got some potential.
I love that little square foamy bit. Did you make that?
Yeah. It's like that hard foam that you get for, well, sometimes when you get electronics and stuff like that.
Oh, it's quite firm.
It's very firm. Yeah,
Makes a great stamp.
it does. I'm quite pleased with it.
What is that triangle that you got or made, Karen?
It's the base for a Rubik's Cube. My daughter had a Rubik's Cube, and this was the stand you put it in, and I found it on the floor, and I was like, mine. Yeah.
Mine.
Sometimes they just make it into my studio, and it's like, well, you leave it on the floor, it becomes a tool. Okay?
Never to be seen again.
That's right.
Confiscated. I hope this is more fun than watching paint dry.
I don't know. When I'm watching people like this, sometimes I just like, okay, hurry up so I can go do it myself.
The way you guys are feeling. I guess they're seeing
Michael's over till
9 o'clock.
Well, Trisha's on their way. Oh, look at those.
Ooh,
colors.
nice.
It's a party.
So like the patterns aren't turning out as much as I wanted, but I'm okay with that because I'm kind of enjoying just how the colors are fusing together. There's Jodie's.
That's my wet one.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's got some potential. Got some that could work. It sort of looks like almost like a a blurry negative in a way,
Yeah.
Dark purple.
Or like an alien life form.
All right.
Oh, thanks. That's great. That's what I was going for. Yeah, these are the ribs of the alien. That's one of Karen's favorite movies, actually.
Yeah, it is.
Alien.
Alien. I like it. Okay, so I added a bunch of water to that because I wanted to see if it comes out really beautifully painterly. For the art show, I'm supposed to be doing flowers for a special
Flowers?
exhibit at the art show, at
Oh.
one of my art shows.
Okay.
I haven't done any flowers yet.
Ooh.
Yeah, liking that.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So maybe less paint, more water.
Yeah.
That one looks
I don't know,
like the
Yeah, field
bones
of
of a
flowers.
landscape. You could
Yeah.
build,
That's field of
Yeah,
flowers
yes.
there.
yeah.
It totally won't be.
I mean, if you were not an abstract painter.
That's right. It's so funny because people will be like, "Oh, I see a horse in your picture." Really? Do you see one now? They go away very quickly. Ooh, this has Jodie's paint in it.
Yeah, this is where it gets fun because you
I'm just sort of stealing what she's doing and using up what she used. And
Yeah, I see delphiniums in there. You're in trouble.
oh yeah, you're right. I see them too. Oh my gosh. Well, we'll see what
What are
happens.
people gonna say?
Karen's starting it. Well, there we go. I did my flower one for the Calgary Community Painters. My interpretation of the flower project I have to do. All right, let's see if they turned out.
Chloe did a flower.
Let's see. Wow.
Chloe, that's lovely.
Ooh.
It's
I
beautiful.
put too much paint on, so it smudged.
Yeah, but
That's
it just
all right.
looks like it's blooming.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Ooh, Karen. I think you've done this before.
No, I feel like I'm just learning now. Not one lesson. What you got over there, Jodie?
I get some purple. Ooh, I think I just got some on you.
That's okay. I'm kind of used to
You
getting,
were worried about getting paint on you.
Huh?
kind of used to getting paint on my clothes.
Hi.
This
Okay.
one kind of fun.
It's not fun. Nobody has to rush out and get this stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so if everybody goes and gets them, then we'll have another day of this. We're all sort of playing together. Okay, so I'm just being very spare with that paint. I want it to go into.
Oh, she's pulling out the big guns.
Big guns.
Look at that thing. You have such great tools. Look at that, but they're kind of crowding you out here.
I
Let's
know.
get a few of them out of there.
I don't think that's going to do anything.
Well, it left some. There's some grid there, yeah. Gorgeous. Gorgeosity. Does anybody want to see us do something that we haven't done? Did you ever ask that question?
I don't know. Is there something that you think we should do? Because we're sitting here doing stuff, and
Okay, now we're
Anything you
starting
want
to
us
move
to try?
into the blacks.
yeah, Jodie likes doing black stuff. So this is one of my hand cut stencils. I'm going to end up with a line because I have a line on my stencil. But that might be interesting too. I'm just gonna.
Oh, you got some orange. Excellent.
I have paint in my
That's very nice.
Again, more water, less paint. And I'm okay with that. Something I wanted to try.
Yeah, that's kind of blacky.
Did you cut that stencil out with scissors or knife, or how did you do that?
I did it with a knife.
You have more patience than I do.
Yeah, it all is. Yeah, that one was a tough one. This one was tough too.
Whoa.
Oh my goodness.
So
It's so delicate.
yeah,
I like the color of your sister's jelly pad right now. I
I
like
wasn't
that.
sure I was liking it. So okay, and you've
It's-
encouraged me. I'll stay with what's that?
Oh, it kind of is like Halloween themed almost.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's see what we
just
can
keep
do. with
going.
it. Yeah, I'll just keep going.
Did Donna make it in there?
No, she didn't. It's on it.
Any problems connecting her out there?
Oh, okay. She was so excited about it tonight too, because she texted me saying that she was excited to see what we were doing. Well, that didn't work. Not enough paint. What I really wanted to do was,
But it looks like a really good base for something.
well, it's
That's
a
what I
start,
thought.
right?
That's what I thought. Man, you just do all kinds of things. Like this is the top to some little doodad.
Yeah, it's probably the lid for something, and I stuck it to a piece of wood, a popsicle stick or something. I know. I see things, and I'm like, oh, there's a tool. I did not look at you and say that you were a tool.
So, I'm at a loss and I'm letting it dry, so I have to be careful here.
Yeah, you gotta do something.
Gotta just do it. Gotta
Add
rip.
more black.
Add more black. I think you're right, Leah. I don't feel comfortable with it the way it is. Can you tell?
Well, print it and then spray it and then print it over your black one.
Excellent.
Ooh.
That's a good idea. I want to wag my finger at you and say that's great. Okay, let's try that. And if I really don't like it and I work it and don't like it, it's just a piece of paper, right?
A piece of paper. Did you take all the paper?
Well, I didn't want to. I didn't want to reach across you.
I like, where'd all the paper go?
Okay, just
can't
for
see it.
point of reference, how many pieces of paper did you cut originally and how many more have you cut? So we have an idea of, just so we have an idea of how much we're going to go through in an hour, right?
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 for me.
I don't know how many pieces I cut originally, but I have a pad of art paper that I've been cutting through.
Ooh.
Whoa,
pretty cool, right?
That's beautiful, Karen. Mine's gonna look like. Oh, I can't swear on mine. It's not gonna look so good.
I got 12 here.
So it's safe to say we need 10 or 12 pieces of paper when we sit down to do
With
this.
black.
Yeah, so what I have, what I did is I used I have a pad of watercolor paper that I got from Michael's, and I've cut those sheets of paper in half, so they're 6 by 11 or whatever that is. Oh, 11.
Get the black.
6 by 8 maybe. And then that's just the perfect size for me to do with these. And then I cut this one too. Yeah.
How are you two not clobbering yourselves? You've got a lefty and a righty side by
No,
side.
and
We're actually on the wrong side of each other.
Wrong
I
side.
thought she was going to put me over there, but she didn't.
Yeah, I just because I needed to be more central to you guys, I guess.
Yeah, she's the main event. I'm just the side. I'm just
You're
the
your
side
sidekick.
No, I'm the
Sideshow.
sideshow. They can't see us looking at each other.
I know.
Point, can they?
Sideshow Jodie.
That's right.
This is what our times are when Jodie comes to visit. We'll spend all our time down in the studio just doing this kind of stuff.
Yeah. In fact, tomorrow Karen's not working. So
I'm not working.
I'm both really excited about
Which is so good.
just playing. Because a lot of it is about playing, isn't it, Karen?
Yeah, just sort of what can we do? And we might have to go to Michael's and buy more paper.
That's right. Go through your whole cupboard.
Yeah. No, Bill's like, go, just use it all.
How could that be possible?
How could that be possible to use it all? I have lots.
Good idea.
I have an idea. I have an idea forming in my head.
Because I couldn't find any sweet onions anymore, and then I got out of the habit. And this week I forgot that I bought.
Let's see how that does. Grabbing paper. Ooh, that's nice. Look at the way she's
Spinning it.
Yeah, that's really nice, Karen.
Yeah.
I'll take my little square.
Yeah, since you no longer have a rectangle. And Karen, some of these will be dry by tomorrow. So part of our day is I could do some work back in, but I'll probably do most of that.
You know what? They'll probably be dry tonight because it's not really thick paint, right? So.
Okay, that's more like it.
Oh,
That's what I'm talking about.
that's what Jodie likes.
That's what I like. You guys
I like that one.
Yeah, me too. I think that there's enough, little things going on with the bit of the orange for some action, and I can
Sort of
work back
poking
into
out.
it to kind of accentuate that. Okay. That's making me happy. Yeah, we're quite different in our artwork, aren't we, Karen? You're way more color, and I'm more, I'm not as comfortable with color. But that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's great to see two different people going at it simultaneously, just different approaches.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna do a water one because I kind of think a ghosting of that might be interesting. And then maybe what I'll do you sometimes work back into it, Karen, right after you pull it off?
Yeah, you can because then you're working wet on wet, and that's kind of nice too.
Yeah. So I think I'm gonna try that with this one. Let's see what we get, hey?
You mentioned watercolor paper. Does the type of paper make a difference on the way that it picks up the paint?
It might. When Jodie and I were doing this last time, we were using watercolor paper that had more of a texture to it. It was rougher, and that roughness showed up on a lot of the prints where the paint didn't go into some of the rough areas. And I mean, it was fine, but it was a little bit different too.
I'm sorry, is this smooth watercolor paper or did I misunderstand what you just said?
Yeah, this is smoother.
You a little bit of two.
Yeah, you can get different roughnesses of watercolor paper. And I tend to like the smoother watercolor paper just because.
Oh, I love that.
I don't
That's very cool.
You like this one?
Yes, I do.
So I don't like the rough paper as much because I don't like the feel of it.
It
if
really
I'm-
prescribes kind
if
of
I'm-
the texture, right?
Yeah, and it makes it, the texture does play a big part. Bill's coming over here to wave his arms and say it's 7 o'clock
What?
or 8
Oh,
o'clock. Oh.
Where do we get a jelly pad?
So you can probably buy them online, but Michael's has them. They're $25. If you take the coupon, you'll get 30% off.
Where do you get the coupon?
You can get the coupon online if you go to michaels.com and you can download the coupon. They have a 30% coupon every day, and you can use that 30% coupon on one item. I
Like a
used to
jelly
go, like whenever I went to Michael's before I worked there, I had the app on my phone because I'd go in and I'd buy like one tube of paint and one tube of paint and one tube of paint because I always wanted the discount. So yeah, I like this one. So this is something that I'll probably work into, and I can work in with paint or
Tools.
with tools or pencil crayon.
Spencer, do you have a Michael's anywhere in your area?
Yes, but it's temporarily closed for the next couple of months.
Ooh.
Then you're gonna have to wait till you come visit me.
Or order one online.
Or order one online. You could probably order it online at michaels.com and they would you can ship them out. I don't
Is
know.
it
what the shipping-
michaels.com or is it, I think it's michaels.ca because
CA maybe.
.com, that's the States, and then you're gonna get all these or they won't even ship to.
I'm in the States.
Oh, sorry, didn't know that.
No, that's
So,
okay.
Where are
I'm,
you in the States?
I'm in Bellingham, Washington.
I know exactly where that is. I used to work with kids in a drug rehab station there, and I've had some coffee at a little coffee shop down by the waterfront there.
Yeah, Amazon down there might have it.
Anyway, it is it's not like a Michael's brand. So you can go into a lot of art shops and they'll have it too.
Okay.
And
Can you show us packaging again?
yeah, I'll show
like
you what the front looks like.
Jelly pad.
Yeah, Amazon has them. I just checked.
So Jelly.
They've got like 8 by 10 for $25 or something like that. That's Canada's.
Yeah.
Gel printing plate. Okay.
Yeah. So they're really neat. You know, when I first started playing with them, my mom was interested in them too, and she made one, but I don't know how successful it was. I think, you know, by the time you use enough gelatin or whatever to create the thickness that you need,
$37.
yeah, you might be better off just buying one with a coupon.
I don't mean to change gears, but you've got a beautiful burl table below that you're working on. Did you make that?
I did not make that. So yes, it is I'm glad you recognize that it's a beautiful burl table, and it's amazing because it's full of paint. So I used to work at a big company, and part of my job was to dissolve the assets as these companies moved into one building, and they had lots of furniture that we were disposing of and selling off. And there were certain pieces that if it didn't have legs or if it was damaged, they just wanted me to put it in the dump. And I had a real hard time with that. So I saw this table, it was horribly damaged, and not horribly, there's a big gouge on the one side. And so I bought it because they were also selling some of this stuff off to the employees. So I bought this table, and it was my dining room table for quite a while until we got Bill's parents' dining room table. But it's you know, it's really great because it has this super hard finish on it because it's commercial. So it is stained, but one day if I ever want to bring it back, I could sand it right down and fix it up. But it's nice. It's really like it's substantial. It's heavy. It doesn't move. So it's a good work table for me.
But apparently it moves a little. That's why Jodie gave you that stink eye all of a sudden.
Did she give me stink eye? I didn't see it.
I'm trying to draw here.
So you guys, I have no idea what we're going to do next week because I did write it down, but things have been really crazy at that place that I work. And I've been running through some things and stuff like that. So I will try and get an email out to you sooner than, oh my goodness, than I did this week. And we'll have a project that you guys can all be hands-on next week and not just sit there and watch me do stuff.
Can we put us on the thing?
I'm working on it.
Oh, Bill's trying to get it so that you're looking at us again. Whew, there you go. So yeah, so anyway, so you guys, thanks for coming in. And I know it's not as much fun watching us do stuff when you want to do it yourself. So
But boy, did they have fun.
we had fun, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. Jodie's got paint on her face.
I know.
You can't take
Is that
her
an age
online
spot or is
anywhere.
it paint?
It's paint. And I don't have any on my face today.
Yeah, because she's a professional.
Yeah, it's
No,
all in
not
her
really.
hands.
It's all in my hands. So anyway, so thanks guys for tuning in, and I look forward to next week. Jodie's probably going to help me pick out what we're going to do next week. How's that?
All right,
You can help
it'll
me
be
do
my
that tomorrow.
fault then.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's just a drag.
We'll go through all what I'm working on and see what.
And watch for the update 24 hours before it goes live.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Sometimes we're late, but it's just the way it is. You know, we're artists, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
On
it.
time? What's that?
So anyway, so thanks for coming in. We'll see you guys next week.
Have a great time tomorrow, you two.
Oh yeah, we'll be very busy.
We'll go through all the paper.
Yeah. All right. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Right.